it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go a little off topic. We're going to talk about these tires that I just put on this Jeep at 164,000 miles and change. The Firestone Destination AT 2 tires. We're going to call this Jeep Talk with Mike today because we're going to talk about random topics. I mean, do they sound loud? How fast am I going here? I can't tell because the navigation took over my little window. But, oh wait, there's a speedometer. 60 miles an hour. I mean, they don't sound quiet. They're not as quiet as the original Destination tires my wife had on her Jeep that we just had to get rid of because it decided to act up. But we'll see how well these things last. You know, the first set of tires she got 80,000 out of them. I got, I think, 60 something out of my first set of Destination AT tires. These are the AT2s, which I would assume 2 means better. But you know how that goes. It may not be better. So we'll see. I mean, they should be fine in the winter. I know those Destination AT tires were fine in pretty much all snow. I mean, the KO2s, I did like those better for deep snow back when I worked at the newspaper. You know, there was nothing you couldn't drive through in a set of KO2 tires. I mean, you can't get stuck with KO2 tires, I don't think. I mean, you could, but not really. Not a normal person driving. I mean, you know, there were times I took the old Cherokees to work when the snow was, you know, up to the bumpers because the roads were closed and everything else. But I worked for newspapers, so you had to get to work. And those are the best days because there was nobody on the road except you and the Jeep. Anyhow, so I have almost a little death wobble there when I hit that bump. Who knew? Look at this person cut me off. It's like, oh yeah, speaking of which, what is with traffic anymore? That job I had in Rhode Island last week usually takes about under 3 hours to get to and from where I had to go in Rhode Island. It took us over 4.5 hours to get home the other day. It was insane. It took all the fun out of any kind of a road trip, whatever you can ever have. And in fact, even on this trip here, I'm going east right now, and the traffic going west has been backed up for probably 6 miles of like 2 or 3 lanes of just completely stopped traffic. So hopefully whatever is blocking that up gets figured out before I'm coming back west here myself in like, well, probably at least 7 hours from now, maybe even sooner, probably not. But do these tires seem too loud? I have a box in the back that rattles around a lot back there, so that's what you hear rattling. But I'm just talking about the tire noise from these actual tires on the road. And I mean, they seem okay. Nowhere near as bad as the KO2s. I couldn't even use the cell phone in the Jeep with the KO2s. Couldn't talk on the phone, couldn't do videos, couldn't do anything. Because all you can hear was the hum of those tires. Now granted, the wheel bearings were bad in this vehicle too. But we'll see. We'll see how they play out. I mean, I've only put maybe, counting today, maybe 50 miles on these tires so far. Because I haven't even had the Jeep in 3 weeks. It's been in the shop. So we'll see what happens. But another off-topic discussion is property taxes. I wrote all my tax bills out this week, and of course they went up. But there was a guy talking about his taxes having gone up from a little bungalow, as he called it. Simple little house, a bungalow. His taxes were $5,500 in this town we live in, and they went up to $7,900. Now he said he was on a fixed income. Well, last I checked, my income's pretty fixed too. Even when I had a full-time job and I was working at a newspaper, pretty sure my income was fixed. It never really changed. But his taxes went from like $5,500 to $7,900. This is a pretty big jump. We just had a revaluation in this town, which means every 5 years they reassess what your house is worth and adjust the mill rate accordingly. And basically it's just a scam to make sure that you pay more taxes every 5 years. Now, like a big jump in taxes, everywhere you pay more taxes. But it's just a way for them to actually charge you more, a lot more every 5 years, and just like have your taxes go up like 30%. And it's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things that they do. And why it gets done, we'll never know. But it's just taxes, I guess. Kind of interesting how much everything costs these days. I really think that, you know, there's no way you could have anticipated how much things have gone up in society, particularly healthcare. There's another guy I heard the other day talking about his healthcare costs for him and his wife. I think he said it was $1,500 a month, or maybe it was $2,000 a month he was paying, something like that. for 2 people on health care. $2,000 a month. I mean, where I come from, that's $24,000 a year. That's a decent amount of money to spend on just healthcare insurance, not counting, actual, if you go to a doctor or you need some work done or you're on a prescription or something like that. So it sounds kind of expensive. So I'm not really sure that thing they did going back, what is that, 10, 13, 15 years ago, did anyone any favors with that particular topic? But, as employers go, I know when my wife was working for her company, every year her insurance costs would go up 7 or 8%. And I'm sure her employer's costs are going up at least that much. So, everything's just getting crazy expensive. People seem to be at their wits' end financially. So, gas is down from where it was, but it's still not free. And it still isn't cheap. These Jeeps aren't good on gas, I'll give you that. But they do get you where you're going if you need to be somewhere. And with the job I have and what I do now, I always need to be somewhere because pretty much every event I go to doesn't get canceled if it snows or rains or whatever. So if you need to be somewhere, oh yeah, I put sunglasses on too before when I was stopped because it was bright, but now it looks pretty dark and gloomy. In fact, this thing I'm going to right now is a motorsports event, and they may actually, I don't know if it rains and the track is wet, they may not actually do it. So we may drive 2.5 hours to find out my event is canceled. So that would be bad, because then I'm not sure I get paid. So that would not be good, speaking of how much things cost. But we're just going to call this a Jeep talk, a little Jeep rant about expenses. And I'll see these tires sound better now, doing 60 miles an hour, but I think that road was like, I don't know, that road was in rough shape back there. So let's get it up to 65 for you right here. Not too bad. That's pretty good road noise. Like I said, you could not speak in this vehicle with those KO2 tires because they were just so crazy loud. But these seem all right so far. We'll see how it is when it rains. And of course, we'll test them out in the snow. If we get any snow this winter, last year we only had like 1 or 2 storms. What I call a storm is like 8 inches or more. Like 4 or 5 inches of snow is not much snow at all. That's just standard weather. So we don't really get a lot of snow anymore like we used to. 10 years ago or longer, back when I was driving my old XJs to work, we got a lot of snow back then. There were days, it was up to the door jams when I was going to work. But we don't seem to get that kind of snow anymore. We seem to get more rain. There wasn't much of a summer this year. We lost the whole month of May, the whole month of June, because all it did was rain and be cloudy. And we had about summer started maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago at the most. So, but now you can tell it's getting dark early. 8 o'clock around here, it's starting to get a little tired. And not long after 8 o'clock, it's pretty much lights on and summer is dwindling. Which means we're going to be going into the fall sports season for me, which been pretty busy this summer so far, so that's been a good thing. But once like late August hits in September and October and the beginning of November, it's just crazy amounts of stuff to do and a lot of driving. So that's kind of why this Jeep is squared away finally, and it's survives. The plan is to run this thing until it runs no more, and we will see how long that is. I did have a car once that went 300,000 miles and I sold it for $1,000. That was a 2004 Saturn Ion 3, I think it was. A friend of mine who used to work at the newspaper makes fun of it all the time. But say what you want. For what I paid for that car, it was like $1,500, brand new. And got 300,000 miles out of it and sold it for $1,000. That's not bad, considering it had very few repairs. I did an alternator, and at the very end I had to do some exhaust work from the manifold back as it cracked at the engine. But other than that, that car, other than brakes once in a while and tires of course, that car never really needed anything. It was unbelievable. It was plastic, so it didn't rust. It was hit once or twice by other people. It was hit once in the front by some guy in a parking lot. It was hit by another girl, and actually a Jeep Grand Cherokee hit it. I think it was in the bumper she hit. I can't remember. And it pretty much wiped out that Grand Cherokee, but the Saturn was fine. So I don't know. That was a good car. All right, we're getting off topic. We're going to call these rants into Jeep Talks, because I used to hang out with a friend of mine and do Jeep Talks all the time. So I haven't actually done a so-called Jeep Talk in a while. So we're going to call these versions Jeep Talk, and just talking about random topics. I don't like the way those clouds look, and I really hope I don't drive to this thing and find out that this event is canceled, because that would be bad. Look at this dude towing a trailer, passing me, cutting off a truck, and he's blowing his horn like we're the problem. I don't think we're the problem. I think you're. All right, sorry about that. The GoPro battery died, so this is just me driving back from that racetrack, talking in the Jeep with some scenic views of what I've witnessed here in the Connecticut countryside on the back roads. So, as always, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think about some of the topics discussed in this one. Thanks again.